Hey everybody, how you all doing? Hope you had a good weekend. So first up, we're going to talk about Active Patriot, about what happened to him over the weekend. So he had his door kicked in, had all his electronics taken by the police. He was arrested for an alleged racially aggravated social media post, whatever that means. But we all know why it was done, don't we? Anyway, taken to the police station, spent hours at the police station. They didn't secure his property. They left his property completely open, so anybody could just walk in to his house and steal anything they wanted. And then it came to his bail conditions. So the state, we're gonna say the state, because that's exactly who's doing all of this. This is coming from the higher ups. Has nothing to do with law and order, this at all. Has everything to do with silencing people who are trying to reveal the truth. Came to his bail conditions. The custody sergeant didn't agree with the bail conditions. Said they were disproportionate to the crime committed. So the chief, I think it was the chief superintendent or the superintendent, came out and overruled the custody sergeant. So the bail conditions were implemented. So Active Patriot can't attend any protests. He can't sleep at any other address other than his own, and he can't use social media. So we know why these bail conditions were implemented. This is purely to shut him down. It has nothing to do with any social media post. They've just used that as an excuse to use their nebulous laws, abuse the law, to shut down free speech. That's what they've done. So all these people out there who keep trying to reason with the police, trying to say, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Choose your side. They already have. And I've had this question as well. I've seen this put on Twitter. People saying, how do they sleep at night? How do they sleep at night knowing what they've done? Well, the simple answer to that is very, very soundly, because they don't care. They don't care about you. That's the reality. The police don't care about you. If they did, they would refuse to carry out these unjust laws and orders that they're being given. They'd refuse to do it completely. They wouldn't do it. We now live in a police state where these people are just following orders. That's what we're living in right now. The law in this country now is whatever the police officer feels like at the time. That's the law in this country. Now, we have laws for a very good reason. They're to provide boundaries for society. This is how far you can go. You can go no further. If you go further than that, you will be punished. You will be in trouble. And that's good for a healthy society. But our boundaries in society are constantly moving now. There is no set boundary. So any one particular day, you can be on the other side of the boundary and be breaking the law because of one particular police officer's interpretation of the law, because it isn't applied consistently across the board. Depending on who you are, a police officer will treat you in a completely different way. And not only that, certain days the law will apply, on other days the law won't. That's where we are right now. And that's done deliberately. Because when a society doesn't know where the boundaries are in the law, they tend to be more subdued, self-censor themselves, won't come out and protest because they're worried about being arrested. And that's done deliberately. That's done to suppress you and to silence you. The police in this country now, the priority for the police in this country now is not policing actual crime. It's policing feelings and speech. That's their priority. So if somebody feels alarm and distress, now you can be arrested for it. Now you're in trouble because you've made somebody feel alarm and distress. Not cause them alarm and distress through action. You've made them feel alarmed and distressed. And that is a very dangerous precedent to set, because that's a very nebulous and subjective law. Because at any one time, anybody can feel alarm and distress at absolutely anything that anybody says. I'll give you an example. I'm not sure where it was. It was a protest somewhere. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me where it was, but I heard about it. Somebody just chanted, "We like bacon." They were taken away and arrested. And this is done for a reason. It's purely down to the interpretation of the officer on the day, because the law is so nebulous. There are no set boundaries in the law either. If all you have to do is cause alarm and distress to somebody, or potentially would cause alarm and distress to somebody, and now what you've said is illegal, and now you're a criminal. That's the state of the law in this country right now. Nebulous. And it's purposely nebulous, and those boundaries are continuously moving because the law isn't applied equally at any one point in time. And this has the effect of people being more subdued, people being less likely to vent their anger or express their opinions through fear of being arrested. This is what tyrants do. This is what dictatorships do to silence their population. They police speech, they police feelings. And that's where we are. That's where we are right now in this country. We live in a police state. The judiciary, the police, the CPS, the government have all aligned as one body, one entity. Now, whatever happens in the future, once we get out of this mess, because we will get out of this mess, this will end. And my guess is it's not going to end well for the oppressors. It never does. I've said this before in a previous video. Never ends well for the oppressors. But there's one thing that we all need to agree on and understand. I think most people do agree on this, is that there needs to be greater checks and balances. Democracy isn't enough of a checks and balances to keep the government in line. The fear of being kicked out at the next election simply isn't enough anymore to keep these people in line. And I think the current situation has proven that. We need a constant overwatch of these people. We need laws that protect the people from the government. We need that now. Most definitely. We need a written constitution. Now I know people are going to come and say, we already have a constitution. Most of it has been overridden by law. So before we can make use of our unwritten constitution, a lot of the laws that override it need to be repealed. The Magna Carta, people bring up the Magna Carta. A lot of what the Magna Carta is has been overridden. It can't simply be used on its own anymore because it doesn't carry any weight, just like our unwritten constitution. A lot of it has been overridden by laws that governments have brought in over the years, basically to give themselves more power and to give the people less power over what happens. So there needs to be greater checks and balances to keep governments, the CPS, the judiciary, the police in check. That should they overstep the mark, that there will be consequences in law for them that enables the people to do certain things, like lawful rebellion. There needs to be laws that protect the people from defending themselves from a tyrannical government. That needs to happen. Because like I said, democracy alone doesn't cut it anymore, because these people don't fear people voting them out of power. They don't, because they're rigging the system. They're rigging the system in their favour. Look at what Starmer's doing at the minute. He's lowering the age for voters, so 16-year-olds will be able to vote in elections. He's now even considering giving the vote to foreigners that have never lived in this country. Why is he doing that? He's trying to rig the next general election because he wants to stay in power. That's what he's doing it for. And at the minute, this is why I've completely abandoned politics. Because politically, the right wing, and I'm only using that right wing to explain this term, because to me, right and left is irrelevant now. It's just who's on the side of good, who's on the side of evil. If you want freedom, if you want free expression, if you want all your freedoms returned, you're on the side of good. If you want censorship, and if you want to silence the people, you're on the side of evil. That's the part and parcel of it now. You're on the side of good or you're on the side of evil. That's the way things are now. There is no left and right. But I'm only using this concept of left and right to explain something. So politically, the right wing is very, very divided. It can't decide who it wants to be in charge of, what political party it wants to be in charge to represent them in Parliament. You throw all that out of the window, you move away from the political side of things, and the right is united on absolutely everything. We all want our freedoms back. We all want controlled immigration. We all want a stop to illegal immigration. Everybody on the right wing agrees with that. No disagreement with that. We want to protect our women, our children, our families. We want to protect them. We want these migrant hotels, these illegal immigrant hotels, shut down and everybody within them deported. That's straight across the board. Everybody in the right wing agrees about that. You take politics out of the equation and everybody on the right is united. And that's a fact. We are literally united on every single aspect of that. This is why I've abandoned politics, because it's divisionary, it's tribalistic. It stops us achieving our full potential because we're too busy arguing over who's the best to represent us in Parliament. But the truth of the matter is, Parliament for the time being is completely irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It really is. Any political solution, like I keep saying, is 4 years away. So Parliament at the minute is completely irrelevant. Fair enough, let the leaders of the parties argue amongst themselves about who's the best. But the people like me and you, we're on the right, and we are on the right side of history as well. That's what it should be. We're on the right side of history. We're all united in what we want. We all want these illegal immigrants booted out of the country and sent back to where they came from. We want our prisons emptied of all these foreign jihadists. Just deport them, get rid of them. We want our societies, our communities protected by our law enforcement. We want equal representation in the law, not this two-tier justice system that's been created since Tony Blair got into power. That's what we want. We're all united on all these issues. The only thing that divides us at the moment is when it comes to politics and which party is the best to represent us in Parliament. That's irrelevant. Forget about that. It's completely irrelevant. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I've ranted enough. This is Vindicator, signing off.